Hey guys, welcome to my newest video for today. Today's video is going to be Weekly Reviews 16. Now, and with this one I will be officially caught up with my weekly reviews. So I'm just going to get straight into it. I don't have a huge amount to talk about because I've mostly been marathoning James Bond films, but I do have a couple of non-Bond related films to talk about. So first up is I actually have a TV season to talk about in this reviews episode, and that is NCIS Season 6, which on the whole is not like I wouldn't say it's like a favourite season, but I enjoy it for the most part. Because at this one I feel this is sort of where it starts to take its tone toward, I guess, current, like, I guess the NCIS that's currently on, because obviously this one we're introduced, or like Direct Events comes on as a full-time character after the events of Season 5, and yeah, I think it changed the dynamic quite a bit, and like for the better. Like, I mean, I like Jenny, but Vance has actually really grown on me, and I like him as a character. And I just think it was very interesting seeing his interactions with Gibbs, especially in the first few episodes where he splits up the team. And yeah, I just think, like, with the overall arc, I thought that was yeah, very interesting seeing that, because one episode I particularly liked is Agent Afloat, and I think like with Denozo and I guess because like the rest of the team got brought back, and then yeah, he was still you know, reassigned to his, like, the mission he got posted to. But yeah, it was a very interesting season, and one of the, like, the first half of it was dealing, like, there was a mole, and I liked Michelle Lee's arc in this role, like, her arc, I guess, and the, like, how that ended. I liked her two-part episodes that dealt with that, and yeah, it was just sort of, especially, and I think other moments I liked the introduction, the two-part introduction to NCIS LA, just sort of going back to those very early episodes and seeing how different the cast is. I'm just like, holy crap, they're practically babies. And especially Kenzie, she's changed so much since she was virtually unrecognizable, just with how young she was. And then, yeah, sort of like seeing, like, Eric and what is the name of the psychiatrist or psychologist? I can't think of his name. I'm terrible with names lately. Yeah, I liked him. You know, obviously Sam, Cullen. It's yeah, very interesting seeing their origins. And it was very different actually with Macy there, because I mean, I love Hetty. She's like my favourite character probably in NCIS LA, and because I think one thing that could have probably made the two-parter better was if she was in that introduction, like, backdoor pilot, and seeing her interact with Gibbs. I just want a Hetty Gibbs showdown. That's all I want. I think it would be very very interesting seeing how that would work. So I think Hetty could probably stare Gibbs down. But, well, considering both Sam and Cullen, I think, are, like, pretty much terrified of her, and, like, you know, they're well over 6 foot tall, and that, so I don't think she'd have any problems getting Gibbs to back down. But anyway, that's not the point of this, talking about NCIS Season 6, but and also I also really did like the finale. I thought that was just sort of seeing the relationship with Tony and Ziva, and seeing just like with that, the trust that they have, and you know, it starts to, I guess, become frayed, and with Michael and all of that, and yeah, it's very interesting seeing how it with season 6 ended, and yeah, so I think overall I would probably give season 6 a 7.5 out of 10. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to watch NCIS LA season 1, and then I'm going to go back to season 7 of NCIS. I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to alternate between the seasons now that I've sort of ventured into NCIS LA territory. So, but yeah, that was the TV show that I watched or finished watching this week. And then I've got a few James Bond films just to quickly talk about. Octoussy. It's okay. It's never been one of again, with the Roger Moore ones, they're kind of hit or miss, and I think this one is also not so much a miss, but it's just, you know, very average. Not one of my favorites. It's got a decent enough plot in that with like the circus, and I sort of did like that background, but yeah, on the whole, not a particular favorite. And I think Octoussy I'm probably going to give a 7 out of 10. Then Never Say Never Again, which I had never seen. It was interesting, I will say that, because I know this is an unofficial James Bond film. It was good seeing Sean Connery back, but to me, I was having trouble associating it with James Bond. Like, yes, it was like he was playing James Bond, like that was his character's name and everything, but for me it felt more like a generic action film rather than a Bond film. And I know they were trying to make it like a Bond film, but like, it was okay as like a watch. It was you know, you just pop it on and you just watch it for a couple of hours, but yeah, I think I would only ever rewatch this as part of when I do my James Bond marathon, because yeah, it's not something I would watch on its own. So I'm going to give Never Say Never Again a 7 out of 10 as well. And then we have A View to a Kill. I finally reached the end of the Roger Moore film era. I mean, Roger Moore's not a bad Bond, it's just yeah, it's just some of his films are like, I don't know, they're not some of my favourite films like to watch. And yeah, I just because there's like, out of his like 7 or so that he did, there's probably only a couple that I really absolutely love, and probably A View to a Kill is one of them. It's or one that I rank more highly than others, because for a time this was actually my favourite Roger Moore era film, because I just had a lot of fun with it. I sort of loved the like the whole going to San Francisco thing, and I loved the chase, and yeah, it's just very action packed, and especially like the end with the helicopter or that, and they're like clinging onto the edge. I just sort of always loved that, and yeah, it's probably my second favorite Bond, like Roger Moore film, I would say, because I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. But For Your Eyes Only is my favorite Roger Moore film, like Bond film, and then yeah, so that's that one. And then we move into the Timothy Dalton era, who I actually like his Bond films. I know he does get a bit of flack, but I actually liked the darker turn his films took. Like, I guess because this was our introduction to a darker Bond. And yeah, The Living Daylights is not my actual favourite from out of his 2, but I do like it. I like the Cold War setting. Yeah, and I like his, I liked the Bond girl in this. I can't think of a name, but yeah, I thought she worked very well with Timothy Dalton. And yeah, it was just I actually thought it was like a very, I guess, for I don't know say if it's necessarily like espionage, but I just always liked the setting and yeah, like when they were like, especially like from the start where he extracts the spy from like who's defecting, and then how the Kremlin go about getting him back, and it's all very interesting, and I quite like the setup for it. So Living Daylights, again, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Then I had a first time viewing with Man in the Iron Mask, which I've actually had for quite a few years. It's I think one of the earliest Blu-rays I've ever owned, and I finally sat down and watched it, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's a really good period drama. I don't know if it's actually set based on a book, because I do know it's obviously based on the retired Musketeers, and that was an aspect I actually really enjoyed seeing displayed. Sort of seeing like at what points that they're at, like, you know, I guess in their retirement, and just sort of like they're discontent with the king, and who I thought Leonardo DiCaprio was really good in his his dual role. I thought it was a very interesting premise, and yeah, I wasn't sure really what to expect, but it yeah, I just had a lot of fun with this film, and it's yeah, I loved it. Was, yeah, the whole period setting, the music, I really enjoyed it, and I'm gonna give Man in the Iron Mask a 7.5 out of 10. Then I watched the last Timothy Dalton film, License to Kill, which is actually my favourite out of the two that he did, because I loved how dark this film became, and you sort of got a very I guess you sort of start to see like a very desperate Bond. He's gone rogue. He's sort of out for revenge after what happens to his close friends, and like he's yes, I think this time it's like he's just sort of finally said, right, I've had enough. I want revenge, and yeah, how he goes about doing that, and I sort of thought that was very good, and I sort of liked how like towards the end he sort of teams up with Q and that, and he's sort of like, how did you find me, Moneypenny? And I just sort of liked that whole interaction and that. But yeah, it's a very different turn for a Bond film, I thought, and I would have actually liked to have seen Timothy Dalton do more Bond films, which I believe he was asked to like come back for, like, I think when they did GoldenEye, they actually wanted him back, but I think he refused. But no, I do like License to Kill, and I'm gonna give it again a 7.5 out of 10. Then we move into Pierce Brosnan's era. I have a bit of a soft spot for Pierce Brosnan's Bond, because he was like my first Bond, I guess you'd say, because GoldenEye was the very first James Bond film that I ever saw, and I love this film. It's yeah, it's just so, I just love the action, and it's I think, yeah, he does a like for an introduction to a Bond film, Pierce Brosnan's great in this movie. I liked his with the whole 006 and Sean Bean's character, and I also love the introduction of Judi Dench as M. She had some really great lines, like great lines in this one. I mean, yeah, has great lines in like her other ones, but there's two lines in particular that I noticed in this one, where she goes when they're in the briefing room, and she's like, unlike the Americans, we prefer not to get our bad news from CNN. And the other one is when she's saying about how Bond doesn't approve of her, and she's like, oh, that's all right with me, I think you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur. So I was like, damn, because, you know, like this is like 1995, and yeah, she's calling Bond out for basically being a sexist pig. So it sort of yeah, I thought that was very interesting, and yeah, I loved Judi Dench in the role, and yeah, I was like, she's probably one of my favorite, I guess, not so much minor characters, but I liked that they gave M more to do, because in I liked the M's in the earlier ones, but obviously this one they fleshed her out a bit, well, they fleshed M out more, and yeah, and Judi Dench is great with the role. She basically owns it, so I'm gonna give GoldenEye an 8 out of 10. I really love this film, and it's got great rewatch value, and like, even not as a Bond film, like if you just want an action film to watch, this is also a great film. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to be a James Bond fan to, I guess, appreciate GoldenEye, and yeah, so it's GoldenEye, and then I watched Need for Speed, which I had never seen before. And to be perfectly honest, it was actually a lot better than what I thought it would be. Because I sort of heard about it, because I think this is based on like a video game series, and my first thought was, oh, they're trying to do, Fast and Furious, like, rip off on the Fast and Furious franchise. And I did see elements of like Fast and Furious in there, but I think when you're doing like a major car film like this, like racing and that, is going to be very hard to not think of Fast and Furious when you see it. But I thought, Need for Speed, for what it was, I thought it was actually quite entertaining. Like, yes, not the greatest film ever, but, it entertained me for 2 hours, and, or 2 and a bit hours. I think it was like 2 hours and 5 minutes, which is probably a little bit long, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. I liked, I liked the characters. I liked, Imogen Poots' character. I thought she was very entertaining in this movie. I liked, and I also liked, the army guy as well, Maverick, or whatever he was calling himself. I did like him. He was also one of my favourite characters in the film. And it was, it was just very entertaining, and I'm actually glad I did watch it. I don't know if they're going to make a sequel or not. I would probably see the sequel just to see what it would be like, but I don't know if it did well enough at the box office to get a sequel, but I guess we'll see. So I'm going to give Need for Speed a 7 out of 10. Then, continuing on with my Hobbit trilogy rewatch, I watched Desolation of Smaug. Yeah, I was actually, so when I was sort of watching this, I was like, oh yeah, this is, because I don't know if I actually like this more than the first one, because I think when I saw it at the cinema, but then now that I'm thinking on it, it's still very good, but I don't think it's quite as good as An Unexpected Journey, but I still really like it. I liked the whole scene with the elves and Legolas, and who's just awesome. Because even in this one, because I know like in the Battle of Five Armies there's this like whole thing where he's like, Legolas defies the laws of everything. I think he does a bit of that in this film as well. But, I mean, not to the extent of Battle of Five Armies, but it's, it's still very entertaining, and I liked his interactions with Gloin. They're funny. He's like, oh, who's this? Like, he's, like, insulting them, and he's like, oh, that's my wife, and then, child, and then it's like, that's Gimli. and, yeah, I I thought that was a great, not so much throwback, but, to the, I guess, for the future, with the, Fellowship of the Ring and that, but I do like Desolation of Smug. I like the whole thing with the Lonely Mountains, Bilbo's interaction with Smaug. I love, and I think it's it's still very good. What else? Yeah, I just have, like, I really, I just like it. It's, yeah, but as I said, I don't think I like it as much as the first one, but I'm still, I can't remember what I gave the first one, but I'm gonna give Desolation of Smaug an 8.5 out of 10. Then the final film that I have to talk about in Weekly Review 16 is Tomorrow Never Dies, which is, well, it's probably my second favourite Pierce Brosnan film as James Bond. It's not as good as GoldenEye, but it's still very entertaining. I like the villain in this. I liked the whole with the media baron angle, and yeah, it was very interesting, like, trying to push, you know, I guess influence the news, and yeah, it's just it's definitely a very interesting villain in this one. And yeah, I liked Michelle Yeoh, I'm not sure how you say her name. I liked her interactions with Pierce Brosnan. I thought they worked very well together. And yeah, it was just, yeah, a very enjoyable sequel, or like not so much, maybe not sequel, but in with Pierce Brosnan's run of James Bond, I still enjoy it. And again, I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. So I think that is it. So yeah, so this one didn't have a lot of variety in film because, yeah, I'm still making my way through the Bond rewatches, like my marathon. But yeah. So this one wasn't that exciting, but I'm finally caught up with my film reviews. So I'm just going to stop it here. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and until my next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye!